Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation! Good evening, and welcome back to Computerized Start Live! I am your host, Justin D. Morgan, and it would appear as if I forgot to do something here. Let me fix that real quick. There we go. That's better. After all, I spared no expense for that set decoration. Alright, let's see who we have in the chat now that I have told the dinosaur to inflate itself. After all, it's a T-Rex, so, big ego, little arms. That's a T-Rex. We have Dave's Vintage Apple Tech. Hi, Dave. We have Thomas Armstrong. Eep. We have Francois. Says just in time for sleep. We have i8386SX. Hi, Jesse. Jesse is not late after all. We have SadMac356. Hi, SadMac. Yes. All right. Now that we've got the dinosaur inflated, and I got the trash out, and I got the mail, and I had a brief moment to catch my breath, I think it is now time for... Let's see here. I think it is now time for everybody's favorite segment.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our favorite segment, Wheel of Regrets. Here's your host, Justin D. Morgan.
Hey, who comes up with these titles anyway?
Yes. And what do we have for our Wheel of Regrets consideration tonight? We have 2 packages. Yes, I refreshed the video. Obviously, continued thanks to Jeremy for putting his voiceover talent to work. Hopefully Jeremy will get a chance to see the refreshed video and comment upon it. Hey, Gutbomb! We have Gutbomb in the house. Just in time for a potential regret. In fact, I was thinking about how well something about this item has not aged well. We have Thomas Armstrong thinking this is Trident video cards. Well, I think I can say that the item in this package is past its prime. We have... an absolutely ridiculous purchase! VCOM's Partition Commander, version 9. Because I got this really cheap. Thanks for your purchase. Oh, I like it when the seller actually leaves you a little personalized note. And they put a sticky note on it. So, yes, well, thank you for the good deal. I think I paid like $5 plus shipping for this. But anyways, why did I buy this ridiculous Partition Commander? Well, I think this was like the last version they released. And it was in the box. And I was like, let's see here. What does Partition Commander 9 do? Provides safe partition resize for Windows, FAT32, NTFS, and Linux, ext2, ext3, and ReserFS type partitions. Yeah, that last one has aged really well. No, it hasn't. Sadmac says, hey, wait, I think I've seen a video of this. Actually, this is not the first one of these boxes I bought. In fact, I think I've got an earlier version of Partition Commander, but Anyways, yeah, Reezer FS, I think... Oh, wait, this is actually still sealed. Other than the UPC removed for a rebate. Yes, I don't know how they do promotions like that in other countries, but in the US, there's this thing called a rebate that you can mail in for, like, money back off a product. It usually requires you to submit a UPC from the item. And back in the, like, early to mid-2000s, there were even a lot of items where you could get free after rebate because they were gaming on a very small percentage of people actually mailing in the rebate. So, yeah, Francois. Oh, Sadmax says it was System Commander I was thinking about. Yes, it might, yeah. Francois says, Reezer FS just got removed from Linux, by the way. Yeah, which is why I was saying that one hasn't aged very well. And look, they even put it on the front of the box, like this was going to be the hottest thing ever, and yeah, Reezer FS is no longer in the Linux kernel. Yeah, I think there's a, sordid tale or something about that one. Anyways, so I've got a new inbox Partition Commander, and I'm going to leave it sealed because, well, that probably deserves its own video. And next, we have another Wheel of Regrets entry. This item did not come from iFixit. For the record, this item and this box should not contain anything from iFixit. If it does, I will be very much disappointed, because I think everything that iFixit sells that would fit in this box costs less than I paid for the item. And unless this is like the iFixit gold pressed Latinum special edition collectible iPhone coin, I don't know. All right. And we have, oh, you got this. All right, I'm glad I got this. Yeah, Francois says gold would make for quite weak screwdriver bits. Yes, but I'm pretty sure I could sell the screwdriver bits made of gold and earn more than I paid for this item. All right, and we, oh, ooh. Okay, this is a bonus. I don't remember the auction photo showing instructions included. Excellent. All right. Well, this gives away what it is. Jesse says gold can buy mini screwdriver bits. Yeah. So apparently, I have the instructions for this item, which is good because I was having trouble finding the instructions online. So I will make sure to scan these and upload them because, yeah. Excellent. All right. That's good that I have the instructions. And now, of course, that the instructions gave away what this is. Not that I can test it because I don't have VRAM for the 7500, but this should be a PowerLogix PowerForce G3. And the reason I know that it has to be that is because it's got the funny dials on it that let you configure it. Now, did I have one of these back in the day? No and yes. No, and that it was not the PowerLogix brand one. But yes, in that it was, I think, the Accelerate brand one, which I think is basically the same hardware. So, at this point, I wasn't going to argue because I only paid like $100 for this. Which, given, if you remember last stream, I mentioned that I had paid back in 2003, I bought a Accelerate 266 megahertz upgrade for the same max that this supports, and I paid $39 for it in 2003. Sold it for $31 later in 2003, so yeah, it depreciated, as was a lot of those old world Max stuff in 2003. But anyways, I paid $39 for it in 2003. I did the math. In 2024 dollars, that was like $67. So the fact that I only paid $100 to re-get one of these, I guess I didn't do too terribly bad. Oh, hey, Bruce, welcome. Popping in to say hi. I can't stay because the cricket is on. Well, anyways, I can't test this because I don't have VRAM for the 7500. Garth is sending me some, so we'll have to wait to test this. But anyways, I'm going to try to configure my 7500 the best I can as to how I had it for the few months I had it before I bought a G3 tower, a beige G3 tower back in 2003. To then, I think at some point I actually broke down and bought my mirror drive door Firewire 800 in 2003. So, yes, if you're wondering, back in 2003, I was buying and selling computers to ultimately just break down and buy a new Firewire 800. And I had that computer for quite a while. That was actually, I have to say, of all my vintage Macs of all the Macs I actually owned back in the day, I think my Firewire 800 was probably my favorite Mac, because that thing, I got so much use out of it, and even though PowerPC went away after Leopard, I mean, I got so much use out of that thing. That was an awesome Mac. And yes, I do have a Firewire 800, and as best as I can, it is kitted out like I had that Firewire 800. So if anyone's wondering, I haven't shown it on the, that's the embarrassing thing. I don't know that I've ever shown that one on the channel. I'll have to pull that out sometime. Anyways, but the good thing is, at least for configuring my 7500 the way I had it, at least I have the instructions. So this should mean I can set a bus speed and clock that, okay, now this isn't a 266, this is only a 233. Beggars can't be choosers. Although, it wouldn't surprise me if I might be able to overclock this, actually. It wouldn't surprise me if this overclocks. So, I may very well try to run it at 266. But, then again, if I get it up to anywhere at its rated speed, I'll be happy. I mean, after all, it's for the nostalgia. I'm not trying to, soup up my 7500 past, much past the way I had it. So, anyways, we'll have fun with this. I'll kind of probably remember why I ultimately bought a G3 tower to then buy my Firewire 800 that I had for several years. At least, well, actually, I'm thinking, actually, maybe I did, maybe I only had it for about 2 years, because I then at some point went from a desktop to a PowerBook. But anyways, so I think that concludes Wheel of Regrets. And at the moment, I'm not regretting anything. But there was one other thing I was going to do before we get back to the Doom project. And that was, we had so much fun looking at the 486 last time that I picked up in Northern Virginia this weekend. I didn't get to showing off the last item I picked up at while I was up in Northern Virginia, and this one was actually at the swap meet. So I have to thank Alex and RetroTech Chris too. RetroTech Chris clued me into the fact that this was available for the taking, but Alex, I forget his last name. Anyways, I'll go grab the computer here in a moment, but here's its keyboard. So, oh yeah, and it came with this little Kensington mouse house thing that I think was double-sided taped to the computer at some point. Oh yeah, and if anyone's wondering, it had the mouse too. Yep, the cable's in pretty good shape. So, I guess I might as well reveal the computer. I have it setting back here where it's safe. So, I know that keyboard probably gave away what it is. Yes, we have a Steve Jobs unapproved upgrade on this Mac. Would be my first Kensington power saver, or system saver. At least the fan's fairly clean. But yeah, we have a Macintosh 512K. And from what Alex told me, it works. Now, of course, I know better than to just power up any of these old Macs. Alright. I knew it had the battery in it. Let's, Alright, so there is a little bit of corrosion on the battery terminals, but I'm not sure that that necessarily came from this battery, although it might have. Yeah, that's an old battery. Alright, well, we are going to, well, first, because everyone wants to know, does it have a charge? We will measure it. Jeremy just went back to watch the refresh. Well, that's cool. Haha! Negative 6 volts. Alright, well, needless to say, that battery is of no account. We'll put that where it belongs. Alright. I hope I did it justice, Jeremy. Hope you're not about to say, that... I had actually been kind of working on that since your first voiceover. But when you told me you were going to re-record it, I held off until I had the re-recording, and then I finished it up this past weekend. Alright, I'm trying to find a handle for this bit, because I was going to make sure there were no reefa caps on this. Where's... Oh, there's... Okay. Yes, Jeremy, I'm glad you could help too. Now you also probably see why I was asking for the voiceover separate from the audio, because I took the separate tracks and rebalanced the levels of them a little bit. Also, I think I may have slightly timed the music might be timed slightly differently too, but anyways, yep. Alright, I'm going to open this up real quick. Make sure there's no reefa caps, and then we will give it a smoke test. At least to make sure it powers up. I'm not going to, like, wait for it to boot. We've got Doom to get to, after all. Yeah, this is a fairly nice looking 512. There is a little bit of damage to the case on the top corners, to which I'm kind of not surprised, but at least it's limited to the top corners. Also, I happened to notice today that if you have one of these cases and your grills are broken, you can get 3D printed grills to replace them at jcm-1.com. Or if you want to print them yourself, I think he links the GitHub repo too. But yeah, if you don't have a 3D printer, you can buy them pre-printed from Joe. Alright, still trying to get the last screw out. It's... interesting. It's like it's cross-threaded or something. Oh, alright. It's just stuck. It's just stuck. Coming out like the rest of them. Okay. No, I don't think it was cross-threaded. I think it was just stubborn. Alright. Alright. And let's see here. Do we have reefa caps? No, we do not. Alright. It does appear as if... Yep. I don't see reefa caps. No way. No way. Alright, well, good night, Thomas. Unfortunately, work beckons at, like, possibly the most inopportune time, because, folks, I don't know if you can see far enough in this Mac. Dave might realize what I'm seeing. Ah, Gutbomb sees it. Yep. There is something in this Mac. All right, part of me says power it up and see what it is that way, but part of me says let's just check to make sure it's seated right first. Yeah, I think Dave saw it too. All right, I was not expecting that. I just thought this was like a 512K Mac. Oh, let's see. Is there like another cable plugged in? No. Okay, we're good. And oh, there we go. It's Dove Computer Corporation Mac Snap. It's memory. Gutbum says, oh, it's memory. Dave says, nice. Jesse says, speaking of work, I traveled a grand total of 15 feet to work today. Gutbom says, Adrian recently did a video on a card like this. Yeah, it's an add-on memory. Actually, you know, I think this looks almost exactly like the one Adrian looked at. I think it was a Mac Snap. Alright, well, I don't see anything other than the fact that it's zip-tied to a capacitor to hold it in. That's kind of weird. Alright, well, I don't see anything of concern. Yeah. So I guess let's put this back in, and I wasn't going to boot it, but I guess I'm kind of obligated to boot it at this point. All right, so I'm not going to plug the floppy drive in because Alex told me that the floppy drive needed work, and if I plug it in, that'll probably keep it from booting. So I'm going to leave the floppy drive unplugged. I will pull my floppy emu out, though. Wait a minute. That doesn't seem right. The mouse is that one. Yeah, there we go. So, mouse, keyboard, alright. Let's see here. Where did the floppy emu go? Oh, there it is. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I think Adrian found bad RAM on the one he had, so hopefully I won't have bad RAM. But I could have bad RAM. Okay, I do know that I need to copy the Mac firmware onto this SD card here real quick. Because the last thing I did with my floppy emu was used it to play, or used it to attempt to boot an Apple II GS, so I know I've got the wrong firmware on it. Alright, and I know I've got the SD card adapter on my bench, because I was just using it Tuesday. Now the question is, where did it migrate to? Oh, there it is. Okay. Alright, so let me do that here real quick. Okay, let's see here. emu.bin. Let's see. Downloads. Great. Someday I'll get a second floppy emu so I don't have to keep swapping firmware. There it is. Alright. Okay. Mac firmware is on it. Alright. Okay. So, smart outlet power in 3, 2, 1. And we have a screen. Oh wow, we got a nice screen. Alright, we got a flashing question mark cursor. Partly because I'm still updating, the floppy emu's updating. Alright, we got Macintosh firmware. Alright. I'll get my phone out here in a moment to... Okay, I'm going to attempt to boot from the Snooper emergency disk, which is an 800K disk. Oh, it looks like I'm going to have to power cycle the Mac because it had to update firmware. It's not detecting the floppy drive. Alright, I'm getting, I need to install the DroidCam plugin in OBS. I keep forgetting to do that until I have a reason to... like, share my screen. Alright. So there we go. And... alright. Okay, that's a good sign. That probably means we got enhanced ROMs. Yeah, we have to have it. I think it's a certainty there's enhanced ROMs in it, because otherwise it wouldn't have been able to boot Snooper. Yep, confirmed. Macintosh 512KE. All right. Let's see if we can get some system info. Oh, that's boring. Let's... CPU info, will that tell me? Or am I just going to have to run the RAM test? Oh! 2 megabytes! Alright! Awesome! Awesome, alright. Dave says it might have the Mac Plus ROM in it. Well, I'll figure that out later. Well, it's reporting as a 512KE, but you're right, it might have the... Gutbum says, you've got the Macintosh 2048KE, yeah. Alright, well let's run through a loop of tests. We'll make sure our RAM's working. Yeah, this is really awesome. The screen looks really good. It's crisp, it's bright, it's sharp. Dave says, great find. Yeah. Alright, while that's running, I'll kind of give you a little preview of the analog board. So there we go. It's not been recapped, but it looks like it's in pretty good shape there. I mean, tube could use a little cleaning because the dielectric grease that was applied at the factory is kind of a bit gross, but there we go. And trying to look at those diodes that overheat. Ah, it looks like this has the, I forgot to turn off a test. Don't worry about the beeping. Yeah, it's got the, like, standard diode, which I think is a higher rated one than some of the older analog boards. So this may be a newer analog board. Yeah, I should have turned off the, like, printer and modem port tests, so you can ignore the beeping. It was aggravated in that there was no printer or serial port. Gutbomb says the analog board had a date code of 1985. Oh, good eyes. Well, that's actually... Oh, well, maybe it's just the diode Apple used if they were out of the one they normally used. I don't know. Anyways, this is really cool. Thank you, Alex. I was definitely not expecting the RAM upgrade board. Gutbomb says, if this one had the Mac Saver on it all the time, maybe that helped too. Yes. At the moment, the Mac Saver's off because the top of the case is off. But yeah, this is like really good condition. I'll probably have to service the floppy drive, but the RAM board, I was not expecting that. It's got the enhanced ROMs or plus ROMs in it. Which is actually nice, because my other 512K that I haven't managed to get running yet, it's actually not an enhanced 512K, and I was going to leave it like that. So actually, that means there's probably a good chance that this is a 800K floppy drive. Oh, there we go. All right. We've run through a cycle. That is like really cool. Yeah, it probably is an 800K drive. I don't know if there's a way to tell by looking in it. I mean, I know it's not a high-density drive, but... Anyway, there's the drive. Capcom says 100% at 800K drive. Whoops caps. All right. That is a great gift. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Chris, for tipping me off that it was there. And yeah, the 400K drives are bigger than the 800K ones. Yeah, for sure. So, all right. That's just awesome. And I was not expecting to have a RAM upgrade in it. That's like super awesome. So, it's just awesome all around. So this Mac has a good home, and I will enjoy it, and we will have fun with it. And it was sure great to get this out of my car, because these Macs don't like staying in cars forever. All right, so let's just keep everything safe here. I'm going to put the lid back on it. For anyone concerned, I was holding the corner of the analog board where there's no components because I wanted to make sure I didn't, like, do something more stupid. So yeah, don't open one of these, the standard safety disclaimer, don't open one of these Macs up unless you know what you're doing. Because there's high voltages inside. I am aware of the high voltages inside these Macs, where the high voltages are. And I've had high voltage training through my employer, so I kind of know what you do and don't want to be doing around high voltage. So yeah, definitely... if you've got one of these Macs and you got to open it up, well, make sure you're comfortable around high voltages, do your learning, and quite honestly, maybe the first time you do it, you should maybe buddy up with someone that's done it before. Gutbomb's asking about the Packard Bell that I'm working on next week. And he's asking specifically if the one I'm working on next week is the one that I had to futz with the power button on. And no, it's not. Not that that one won't necessarily come out during that stream at some point. But no, that Packard Bell is working as far as I know. The one we're going to be looking at is another Packard Bell I bought last year, and I'm just kind of... Francois says, if you're not aware of high voltages, look up Electro Boom. Yeah. So the one we're looking at Tuesday is another Packard Bell I bought. It's a... it did not have any shenanigans going on with the power button. In fact, I think it worked. I think I was able to restore an OS to the original hard drive, but I believe the original hard drive had bad sectors on it. or there was some reason why I bought another hard drive to put in it. So we're going to replace the hard drive that's in it, restore its system credentials, and then reinstall we'll rerun a restore on it. And I've got a question out to the Packard Bell Facebook group to see if anyone can let me know what the best recovery CD out there is for that particular model that would be as close to what shipped from Packard Bell as possible. Unfortunately, not all the restore disks have been archived, and I think that's one of the ones where it's probably we're going to have to go for something close because that one's not been archived. Mike. Oh, hi, Mike. Welcome. Mike's Future Retro's here. Is this the Mac that Dave worked on for you? Nope, Dave still has that one. This is one that Alex gave me this weekend while I was at the Northern Virginia Retro Computing Meetup. So this one's actually a 512KE with a MaxSnap memory upgrade board. So it actually has 2 megabytes of RAM in it. And for anyone that missed it, I want to open up the system saver before I power it up, because some of these have surge protectors in them, and the MOVs they use in surge protectors only have a finite life before they'll go boom. So I want to inspect it, but I'm not going to open it up tonight. But yeah, Dave still has my Mac Plus case, so I don't have that back yet. Yeah, this is a 512KE that I got this past weekend. It's really cool. So once again, thank you, Alex, if you're watching. I will give this a good home, and we'll find some fun things to do with it. Actually, having a 512KE with a RAM upgrade board, that actually... Ooh, we may have some 1-bit fever dreams level fun with this Mac. So I may have to get find a way to route a TTL video signal out of it. All right. All right. So, now that we've gone through the preliminaries, all right, we're going to pull the Doom playing machine here back out, because yeah, I was fully going to actually do a Packard Bell stream tonight. You all probably remember me even mentioning, well, I think my exact words was that I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but there was going to be a Packard Bell stream, and I was probably implying that I thought the Packard Bell stream would be tonight. But then, after thinking about it yesterday, I realized that I might have given up a little bit too soon, because... Oh, good night, Francois. I realized that playing Doom doesn't mean you have to play Doom with the original engine from ID Software. That you're still playing Doom even if you use a different engine that's using the same WAD files. So I was like, all right, so the original Doom engine has its own 32-bit extender that unfortunately interferes with SoftMPU, so when Doom loads its 32-bit extender, I think the SoftMPU basically gets mapped out of memory. It's probably still running, it's just unable to do its job because its ability to see memory probably got overrode by DOS's 32-bit extender. So it's like, all right, is there anything else? Have I given up too soon? And then I realized, wait a minute. I remember hearing about something called FastDOOM. Could FastDOOM maybe help us here? Because I think I've seen people run FastDOOM on computers that would otherwise have no business running Doom. So, oops. So I've already downloaded it, but anyways. So FastDOOM for DOS, based on PC Doom. The goal of this port is to make it as fast as possible for 386 and 486 personal computers. Well, I think the processor in the bump bar is basically a glorified 486, so that sounds good. But I was looking and I realized that, wait a minute. They've added Disney Sound Source support, Kovacs, AdLib, no, AdLib's in there, OPL2 LPT and OPL3 LPT. I think Tandy 3 voice support, I think, might be added. Audio music CD, PCM music support. It's like, wow, look at all these sound systems that I don't remember the original Doom running. So I was like, okay. Maybe there's something in here about MIDI. So I kind of searched the changelog. I was like, wait a minute, Dream Blaster S2P support, MIDI through LPT. Okay, well, that's new. But that's not Serial MIDI. Hey, wait! Serial MIDI support, fixed baud rate, 38.4, COM 1 through 4 selectable. Wait a minute, that is the rate that this adapter runs at, 38.4. So I was like, you know, I bet if I run FastDOOM, I bet I could get MIDI out to work. So there's one piece of the puzzle. We're going to try FastDOOM. Yeah, the next piece of the puzzle, as you all probably remember, I didn't have a cable. I realized that I had a Cisco cable stashed away somewhere, so I went and looked up the pinout of a Cisco terminal cable and realized that it has receive mapped to the same pin that we need it to be for the MIDI adapter. So I was like, okay, well, all right, good thing I grabbed a gender changer here, because I think that is actually going to give us what we need for Serial. Jesse says, you can never have enough console cables. Yeah. Actually, I do have a Cisco switch somewhere. I got it stashed away for such a time as I can actually make use of a 10100 Cisco switch. All right. And then finally, well, we got to power this thing, and it uses a mini B cable for power, which is kind of silly, but, well, whatever. It's probably an older design. So anyways, I dug up a cable, and luckily I don't need my Bluetooth adapter for this stream, so we'll use that for power. And, well, sure enough, the adapter has power. Let me see if I'm going to tape it in place so that it doesn't I'm at least going to tape the console cable down. That'll be enough. I just don't want the serial adapter to touch my stainless steel workbench. Jesse says, I legit carried one in my car for a while. So, there we go. We've got a serial adapter. And, alright, power. Power to the bump bar. So we're going to try something here first. So I haven't installed FastDOOM yet. I wanted to at least check pinouts first. So first we're going to... We're going to run Space Quest, and we're going to see if we get MIDI sound. If this cable is actually correct, I think we will hear MIDI sound. And if it's not, I'll have to go find a... Oh, hold on. Are my speakers on? Oh, I thought we would hear MIDI sound. Alright, well, I thought we would hear sound. Oop. Install. Alright, let's see here. It's probably seriously going to make me, Oh, hola, senor. We have Greg Rutke in the chat. Oh, I thought the pinout was right. Is there a point I can... Yeah, we... Huh. I've been doing good, Greg. And we should have music blasting out of the speakers, but, Oh, that's a negative. All right. All right. Let's, Oh, hi, Robert McKay. Welcome. All right, well, let's unplug the serial cable. Maybe I got the pins mixed up, so I did grab a null modem adapter just in case... Just in case the pins were backwards. All right. Yes. All right, we're not here to play Space Quest, but Mike says, got to love that digital PCM sound. Yeah, it doesn't sound quite right, but then again, this is a, for Space Quest, you have to set a Roland. So I'm sure they wrote the MIDI thinking you had a Roland synthesizer hooked up. And in reality, this is an S2 module from Certico. So the instruments may not quite line up. In fact, they probably weren't. But anyways, that's good. All right. We have serial communications to the serial module. Now, we got to get to the last step. Yeah, Mike says, hey, one of the rules of retro, you work with what you got. Well, I mean, maybe someday I'll have a Roland synthesizer. But for now, we're going to use the MIDI module I have. And if I get it working, and then maybe someday I'll manage to get a Roland synthesizer, or one of the Certico modules that actually has the Roland sound banks on it. That's also an option. This was like the cheapest module they sell other than the McFly, because I at least wanted a serious MIDI module. Also, Doom will probably sound a little bit closer because I think it actually uses general MIDI. So, all right. So I've got FastDOOM downloaded. So I just need to extract it to my SD card here. I will then also... Unfortunately, there's no installation instructions on the wiki. So I'm not... Oh, hi, Loomson. Welcome. Yeah, Loomson says, you need the MT32 for Space Quest 3. I can help you get set up with an MT32 Pi, which would be a nice addition to your MIDI setup. Yes, there is the MT32 Pi. But we're working with what I have tonight. I was using that to confirm I had the serial port working because I knew we had serial traffic from SoftMPU when I was running Space Quest, so that was to make sure the setup was working. Because I, wait a minute, am I still copying files? Oh. Oh, there we go. Okay. We're good. All right. Now, the one thing I don't know, and it's probably going to take a couple tries, is where the WAD files go for FastDOOM. Because there's no instructions. Alright. I do know, though... Alright. I'm presuming I just copy him to the FastDOOM directory. Alright, I don't want SoftMPU running... All right. Let's see here. Doom.wad. Let me double check that is the correct one. All right. So hold one moment. I'm going to just simply looking at the FastDOOM wiki, and it's got a list of the supported WAD files, and that is not one of them. All right, that is... That is not the right version. All right. Okay. Hold, please. Oh, wait. Let's see here. I think DOSBench might actually have the correct version now that I think about it. But, alright, so there should be a Doom 1.wad 4196020. There we go. Alright, there we go. We have a WAD file. Yep, basically, FastDOOM works with version 1.9 WAD files. And that is the shareware WAD file, which is fine. Alright, so I think we need to first run probably FD setup, controller type keyboard, Serial MIDI, COM1, PC speaker, sure. Alright, the PC speaker sounds absolutely awful. Alright, that is actually distracting. Okay, if you could probably hear, we do have MIDI, but the sound effects card... Let's just try PC speaker. Yeah, it was an odd rattle noise, yeah. So, Greg says that's not much better. That's how I used to play Doom. Was PC speaker with no MIDI, though. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking the PC speaker is not adding anything here. Or I'll put tape over it. Jeremy, I think is, I don't know, mind blown or not impressed. I can't tell which emoji that is. Greg's having internet trouble in the snow. Yeah. I feel that pain. Gutbomb says, lol, I've never played Doom with the PC speaker before, and it's funny that it just makes generic beeps for pickups. Yeah. Jesse says, with great persistence comes great MIDI. Yeah, the Doom music sounds really good on this MIDI module. Robert says, the 1-bit PC speaker might be okay. Yeah, stay up there, Grudy. Sad Max says, oh, Jeremy says head banging. Yeah, let's try that 1-bit speaker setting. Because somehow there's just a way to get, like, just the... Oh, wait. I don't know if that's any better. But considering there's no way to hook up a Sound Blaster, well, anything's better than nothing. Also, I'm awful at Doom. But I'm not gonna let that stop me. Yeah, as good as I'm gonna get on an OASys iPad, that's for sure. It's real sound effects now instead of beeps, yeah. Alright, now there was something I was wondering. Since we're using FastDOOM now, do we have to run MS-DOS to get it to run? Or can we do something silly like this? Oh. Oh, whoops. That's... okay, that's weird. Oh. Okay, why is it doing that? That's weird. This is like a... Okay. Well, will it run it if I look up the command first? Because that's weird. It's not like this is a proprietary formatted SD card. I mean, it's FAT16. I think it's just FDOOM. Oh, specified file name invalid. Oh, interesting. Alright, I guess that answers the question. I guess we do have to be running MS-DOS. It's weird. Maybe I'll double check that the file system's not. Nope. File system's okay. That's weird. I was thinking, well, now that I'm using FastDOOM and I don't need EMM386, maybe I could run it in XDOS. Okay, answer no. Yeah, Jeremy's thinking I should hook up a real speaker instead of the awful piezo. I don't know. That seems like more than I want to suffer through on an... I'm trying to do thing... We're trying to play it on an iPad, not soup an iPad up to get it to PC levels. I mean, this thing is awful. Observe. After all, this is what we're dealing with. Greg says, you know what's screwed up? I played this game from when it came out at like age 2 to about age 13 or so before I realized there was a soundtrack. PC speaker for life. Mike's Future Retro. This reminds me of the 1980s version of David Letterman's segment, Stupid Pet Tricks. The computer version of getting it to do things it was not designed to do. Yeah. It was not designed to do the virtual reality Playhouse benchmark, 54.4 frames per second. What was I? Oh, yeah. That's what I wanted to do. So I wanted to run the Doom benchmark, and then I was going to see if I could get FastDOOM to run the same benchmark, because I think it will. Sadmax says, how many of us didn't know Space Cadet Pinball has music? Oh, wow. I'd forgotten it had music. Alright, so this is regular Doom. This is, like, awful. So, actually, Greg says, I didn't at first. Yeah, now, seriously, this thing is supposedly running at 300 megahertz. And this benchmark run-through is megahertzing. This is like megahertzing. The thing's got like 128 megs of RAM. Although, granted, DOS 622 will only let you use up to 64 megabytes. 300 megahertz processor. PCI Express 1-channel graphics. But yeah, the 300 megahertz processor in this thing is... I think basically a souped up 486. And quite honestly, it may not have any level 2 cache. I'd have to look at the datasheet. 2134 game ticks and 3294 real ticks. Greg says, as EVGA used to say, overclock it till it megahertz. Yeah. Alright, let me see if I can... Let me cheat here, look at the batch file. Let's see here. There we go. We want Doom. Okay. So I think the command is... There's the command. Let me see if I can figure out how you replicate that in FastDOOM. And it may not... We may not be able to replicate it like apples to apples. Or I guess in this case, PCs to PCs, but... Because there is a bench batch file here. Alright, so choose a WAD file. Choose a benchmark. I'm going to try fills. Alright. We'll try demo 1. And we're going to run FastDOOM. Oh. And advanced benchmark. Well, that's not the same benchmark at all. Oh, that's... that's not the same benchmark at all. I'll have to... Let me go look at the FastDOOM instructions. Or actually, I'm looking up fdbench.exe, bench2.bat. Oh, there's a bench2.bat? Yeah, the PC speaker is not doing anything right now. I don't know. Hey, Greg says, now they just say, hey, generic PSU OEM manufacturer, how cheap can you slap our name onto your PSU? Yeah, seriously. There we go, that's better. I silenced the piezo speaker. I couldn't help hear myself think. I don't know if I can run the same benchmarks with FastDOOM. I'm looking to see if I can find the source code to see maybe if I can read the parameter parser. See if maybe it happens to support the same parameters. That might be something I have to do later. Alright. Maybe the 1-bits... Oh, you know, yeah, it is running rather slow. I bet when the fill benchmark runs it, because I can see the command that fills benchmark passes into the Doom executable, it's passing an alternate config file in. I bet it's passing a config file in that, like, mutes the sound. In fact, I bet if I go look at the config file that it's passing in, because I think the config file might actually be plain text. I bet I'm going to see... I bet I'll see that it's just like... Yeah, I bet Phil's benchmark does... Oh, great. Is it going to go through all the resolutions? That's annoying. Yeah, flashing warning. That's annoying. Oh, it saved them on file bench.csv. That's nice. Like DOS has a spreadsheet. Executable architecture, blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay. So we did 5026 game ticks and 9189 real ticks for 19 frames a second. All right, we'll figure out how to. Oh, there's bench2.bat. Hold on, I got an idea here. I might be able to figure out what Phil's benchmark's doing if I can find the config file. Does anyone see the config file? fdoom.config. Oh wow, that's more complicated than I thought it was. Alright, let's just have some more fun with Doom. Alright, now the one cool thing about FastDOOM is, you notice all these extra executables? Well, I believe that if I want to run Doom in a higher resolution, like, say, I don't know, let's say, like 640 by 480. That's kind of painful. Jack's. Oh, hi, Jack. Welcome. What's FastDOOM? FastDOOM is an open source Doom engine that's based on, I think, PC Doom. And it adds support for slower computers and some extra sound options, among other things. It also adds higher resolutions. Yeah. The iPad does not run well at whatever resolution this is. Yeah, Robert's description's very, very succinct. A re-implementation of Doom that runs faster on slow computers. Yes. Yes, Jack, that is MIDI. FastDOOM actually supports Serial MIDI. So I guess for anyone wondering, there we go. It supports Serial MIDI at the rate of the MIDICloud from CertaShop. So right there, Serial MIDI, COM1, and I'm using the 1-bit PC speaker, which really sounds really awful. You know, I bet if I decrease the frequency, there. Now, maybe the PC speaker will be bearable, because it's probably only going to play the, like... That's still kind of annoying, but... Alright, so that's the default resolution. let's take a look at a few of the other things FastDOOM can do, if you really want to get wild and crazy here. So, let's see here. Oh, I need to look at the cheat sheet here. So, let's go, I'm going to the wiki so I can remember what some of these options do. But wiki, supported video modes. So if you really want to get wild and crazy, oh, I don't see the one I was looking for. So FDOOM runs at, like, VGA. It uses VGA, and I think it was running at 320 by 200. And it does direct rendering. All right. So, let's look at some of the other options here. So, if you're feeling really fancy, you can play FastDOOM using CGA. Look at this. It's a smeary mess. This adds an extra challenge to it. Yeah, it does play pretty smooth, but that's a smeary mess. You can't play it in CGA with regular Doom. Yeah, Jesse says camouflage Doom. Oh, Jack says the compressor's doing weird things. All right, hold on. Is that better? Hopefully that's better. All right, so let's see here. What else can we do? FDOOM C16. Whoop. That is 16 color CGA, which apparently this video card doesn't like this mode. All right. Okay, let's try again. I'm going to look at my cheat sheet again. Oh, wait. Maybe that was just the oh. Oh, that's a weird resolution. Let's try this. Oh, here we go. This one's wild and crazy. If I'm reading it correctly, this is playing Doom with text characters. Just because you can doesn't necessarily make it a good idea, but wow, this is like yeah, ASCII characters. Notice the menu is like That might have been... Oh, hi, KK, welcome! Keen 4C has nothing on this, yeah. Yeah, these are ASCII characters. This is playing it at 80 by 25 in ASCII characters. And it's actually rather snappy, but I don't know. I'm having trouble playing this. It is impressive that they spent all this... Yeah. It is impressive that they spent the time implementing all these modes, yes. If I was playing this on a computer that supported Plantronics Color Plus, we would try that, but I'm not. There's an ATI Small Wonder version, but I don't think that's going to work on this card. Let's see here. There are a few others that we really want to watch this thing come to a crawl. I don't know what the... Oh. Whoop. Okay. Well, we can't do those modes. How about let's try... the 800D. Okay. Oh, let's try... I was trying to find the highest resolution we could run it at. There we go. 1024 by 768, I think. Wow. I think this is going to be Lag City. Yeah, no, 1280 by 1024 by 8 bits for me, yeah. Is there a 132 column mode? There might have been, but given how much trouble I was having playing with 80 columns, I don't think the extra 40 or so columns would help. Wow. I should probably put a heatsink on the graphics chip on this thing. Jack says this looks like 1.5 frames per second. Yeah, I don't think you're far off. I mean, it looks good, but this is not playable. That is kind of headache-inducing. But I think this is quite... Alright, we'll just go back to regular FastDOOM. There we go. It's quite playable. yeah, this is pretty cool. A device that's normally used for orders at your restaurant now can play Doom with MIDI music. Just have to use FastDOOM. Which, actually, I think the frame rate might be a little bit higher with FastDOOM, so... Alright, that is really cool. That is really cool. Finally got it running on, with MIDI, on the OASys iPad. In fact, actually, I could probably just put this thing back together, leave my SD card in it, and, So, I guess... drawbacks, well, alright, so this approach does require you to have MS-DOS, or probably FreeDOS. I bet this would run on FreeDOS. But you gotta have that installed on the SD card. USB doesn't work with MS-DOS 622 at least. If you want to run EMM386, because the BIOS is, on this thing, the BIOS's implementation of the USB stack to let DOS boot from a USB drive is not compatible with EMM386.exe. So, could you walk up to just any old restaurant controller and plug in a USB drive to the side and play Doom with MIDI? No, that's not going to work. But, if you could open it up and put an SD card in it, then you totally could. Because, after all, you're also going to have to plug in your Serial MIDI device. Yeah, Jack says, I wouldn't have expected DOS and USB to be friends. Well, they weren't. Craig says, who needs MIDI? Of course we want our DOS soundtrack. Of course, now I'm probably going to have to make a short video on how you would actually do this, and without having to watch my entire 3 live stream series to get this working. Yeah. I wanted MIDI because it was like something out there that someone had to do. Yeah. Yeah, I will have to make a video on like how you set it up. Now that I know that, yeah, you gotta use FastDOOM. And yeah. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm like... yeah, I don't know what to do now, because I got it working. No, Jack, I didn't need to use a shielded cable. I apparently was wrong. It dawned on me that the pinout was like the Cisco terminal cable. Although I had to use a null modem cable, so... but yeah, apparently the cable's close enough to a Cisco cable. There might be a ground running in it. I don't know. Maybe I was wrong about having to have the ground. But yeah, I guess it makes sense that they'd use a pinout like a standard. So apparently those instructions I had that had some other pinout were for a completely different product because those don't match this. But yeah, apparently they did use a more standard pinout. Yeah, standard like. But anyways, yeah, one of these terminal console cables. Oh, thank you, Greg. Thank you for doing that, Greg. All right. And, wow, Jeremy, you are my first YouTube channel member. Congratulations. Jesse says, and the Yahoos at Aruba got rid of the traditional console port. Yes! Oh, looky there! Now everyone can see what the channel member icon looks like. Yes, it's a trident. Did you expect any less from me? Yes! It's like to celebrate, I should find a trident card. Oh, let's see here. I kind of had expected this was going to take a little longer than it did. Yeah, this is great. Now I've run Doom on the OASys iPad. Do I have any regrets handy? Well, I do, but I can't test it because I don't have the VRAM for my 7500 yet. Yeah, I picked up a 7500 this weekend, and it someone had pulled all the VRAM out of it. So I've got an upgrade for it, but I can't test it until I get the VRAM from Garth. So that regret score is pending. I mean, I guess I could I could see how hot the chips on this thing running Doom. Because I've got a thermal camera. Oh! Thank you, Jack. I have 2 channel members. Well, the processor's running at 54 degrees C. And the video chip is running at like 28C, 29C. Jack says I needed a trident. Awesome. Oh, welcome, Greg. All right, I got a couple YouTube members now. Everyone wants tridents. Now I'll have to remember to post things to YouTube as well. All right. I will try my best to remember to post in 3 places instead of 2. I mean, this thing doesn't get overly hot. I was trying to find something around here that's running hotter than the system on chip. Yeah, I don't see it. You know, I bet my LED bulb on the ceiling is... no, it's actually not. Never mind. I was about to say, maybe the LED bulb is running hotter than the system on chip. Oh. The LED light that probably is running hotter is too far. No, it's not. Okay. Trident and Tripokey. Alright, so I guess if anyone's wondering, the thermal camera I got, it was like $130. So far, I mean, okay, it's a 96 by 64 resolution thermal camera, so Jack says maybe the system on chip throttles a lot. Greg says he officially has more members than I do. Maybe it is throttling. Maybe, let me see if I can find a real heatsink. Because the thing is, this is the thermal pad that came on the system on chip. It's like a thermal pad block. And you're not about to tell me that that's doing anything. I can't see how that's doing anything. Yeah, it's a thermal brick. Yeah. Yeah, can you imagine someone saying that, oh yeah, I need to cool my G4 or G5 processor. I'm gonna put this between the heatsink and the processor. Jack says it looks like a manicure sanding sponge thingy, but I mean it's a thermal block. It's absolutely ridiculous in concept. But yeah, that's what goes between it and the metal case. It goes with my UV light, yeah. That's for sure. Do I have any of those copper glue-on heatsinks? I have a few... Okay, hold on. The piezo speaker is getting on my nerves. That would probably work. Yeah, I've got some somewhere. I gotta think of where I put the ones of... Oh, wait. Oh, actually, I think I have some heat sinks. In this tub. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What is this from eBay? What is that? Oh! Oh yeah. Okay, I remember buying those now. Yeah, it destroyed the board. I was going to put that on. Alright. Yeah, definitely not a regret in that envelope. Okay. Not in there. I've got some Raspberry Pi heatsinks in one of these totes. I think I do. Alright. Nope, those are arcade buttons. Not in there. Nope. Not in there. Alright, let me set that back. Oh, maybe it's this one. Oh, here they are. Here they are. go. I found them. I knew I had them when they're somewhere. Alright. I was actually thinking of using one of them. I have some Arctic thermal pads that I don't remember buying. See, I didn't buy thermal bricks. I bought thermal pads. They bought thermal bricks. Oh, I have a Black Widow Bluetooth module for Arduino. Okay. Oh, looky there. It's a whole box of DIN connectors. Ah, that's where those were. And... oh, that is a module from Sean Hodgins. I think I just found my hobby bin. Oh. Looky there. Some EEPROMs I scavenged a long time ago. Well, I guess I'll set those aside to erase. Let's see here. Stepper motors. Hacko connecting cable. That's where that went. A 9 degrees of freedom breakout board. And there we go. Forged copper heatsinks. In fact, I think they're actually a good size here. Alright, now. Question is, though... oh, good. They've got little sticky backs on them. I don't know how long ago I bought these, but... now, the really cool thing is... there we go. I'm just going to put it back like that because... and in fact, actually, let's do something nice here. Might regret it later when I actually try to put this back in the case, but... there we go. That's the graphics chip. There we go. We'll put a heatsink over the GPU as well. There we go. Yeah, I've had these copper heatsinks for I don't know how long. These are like old school memory cooling heatsinks, but I don't remember when I bought them. I've probably had them for quite a while. There we go. Alright, so... now, unfortunately, copper is reflective, and that's probably going to wreak havoc with my thermal camera. But I think all I gotta do is, like, put a piece of paper. Is that all I gotta do? Put a piece of paper between the... oh, well, I wouldn't know, because I can see my fingerprints on it. Alright, well, let's run FastDOOM. Let it heat up a little bit again. Well, we're going to use the patent-pending piezo speaker volume modulator. No one steal my trade secret. I'm also going to put a little tape over the copper heatsinks so that I can point the thermal camera at them and not get the reflectivity of the metal. Or at least that's the theory. Greg says, I have one on the chipset of my mom's parts PC build I did 8 years ago. Still there, still going strong. Awesome. I think the CPU heatsink's running at about 35 degrees C. We'll let this run for a few minutes. The GPU one's running at about 30. I know it's... You can see... So, yeah, it can see through the tape. Yeah, they're not breaking a sweat. Yeah, that'll probably do a lot better than that thermal brick they included with it. So, anyways, I'll have to check that series out. I might have seen it, but... there's a lot of things I rewatch later just because I want to remember how it worked. Anyways, so the thermal camera I got, not sponsored because I paid for it 100%. It's like HFS Tools HF96. It was $130 after coupon. It was one of the Instagram channels I follow had bought it for home repair, and I thought, I bet it would work for electronics. So far, I'm impressed. So, yes, if you wonder where, well, some of the things I buy that aren't from eBay. Unlike this, that is from eBay. Oh yeah, Greg, well, let this run a little longer to check temperatures, but yeah, you'll, hopefully we'll be seeing this sooner rather than later. I just have to wait till I get the VRAM from Garth for the computer, but I had found this on eBay. This is, for all intents and purposes, it's the same G3 upgrade I had back in the day. It's just the 233 instead of the 266 one. And the price went up a little more than the rate of inflation over the same time period, but still, yeah, it's the G3 upgrade for the 7500 I picked up because I had one of these back in the day. Oh, thank you, Dave. I have a new channel member from Dave. So Dave is joining the folks in the chat that get a nice little trident beside their name. Yeah, Jack says, one of us, one of us. Yeah, reminds me of the scene in The Net. One of us, one of us. Jesse says, it won't let me join. That's odd. Oh, yeah. I'll double check that I haven't, like, set something wrong. Huh, let's see here. My channel. Let's see, membership. Oh, if anyone wonders, the coupon code is still valid. I never expired it, even though it says April. I should probably go generate a new code so that people don't think it's old. Well, I'll have to look into the membership to make sure I didn't set something, like, accidentally completely wrong. Admin's only thing? I don't think so. I don't think it's admins only. It could be YouTube throttling the number of members that I get at one time. I don't know. I'll have to go check settings. I can't really check them while I'm live, but I'll go check things and make sure I don't have like something silly set. But it's possible YouTube is like limiting the number I can get at like one time because I've not had any channel members. I know sometimes they do silly things like that and don't mention that to... Oh, thank you. Thank you, Greg, for gifting a subscription to Eric. Oh. If anything, it's probably YouTube, Jesse. Yeah, now I'm stumped. And all right, we'll take another temperature and then I'm going to turn Doom off because the PC speaker is getting on my nerves. Huh. I don't know. All right, let's take temperatures. Let me put my pieces of tape back over the heatsink so that the thermal camera sounds like it's being played through a telephone receiver. Yeah. So there's our GPU. Jeremy says that piezo sounds like an old hard drive. Yeah. Yeah, it does. Okay, so the GPU is running at about 28, and the CPU heatsink is at like 33. Okay. Yeah. All right. I think the heatsinks are helpful. There we go. Ah, that's better. Yeah, they're working then. Yeah, it's keeping them cooler than the thermal brick of how could this do anything? Heat is being synced. Yes, exactly. So there we go. I think I probably have the one of the few OASys iPads that have proper heatsinks on the CPU and GPU. And if I can find them, I've got some smaller heatsinks. I'll put one on the RAM as well. For good measure. So, yeah, there we go. So for tonight's stream, we did get FastDOOM running, and it has built-in support for Serial-to-MIDI. So didn't have to worry about SoftMPU getting blocked by the regular Doom engine's DOS extender. We got that working. We got some heat sinks on it. Only thing I can't do is run the same... I can't run the same benchmark with both Doom engines because they work slightly differently. So I can't, like, run the fill benchmark, but with FastDOOM. And I'm not sure I can run the FastDOOM benchmark, but with the Doom engine, so... How much faster FastDOOM is, I don't know, but... Hey, at least it works with the Serial-to-MIDI, so that's excellent. Heat sinks on. And then we also took a look at the other item I'd picked up that I ran out of time Tuesday, and that was the Mac 512KE that turned out to have a Mac Snap memory upgrade in it. Mike says, you should install Linux on this thing. Oh. That will be for another time, because actually there is one thing about these OASys iPads. They've got the BIOS borked. Yeah, you have to select the boot device every time you boot. And Jack says, and then play Doom. Yeah. I mean, maybe we could install Linux on it. I would have to get a USB CD drive and hope this thing can boot it. But or get a USB install disk and hope it boots it. I had enough trouble as it was to try to get just MS-DOS 622 on it in a way that it could run it. So I know Colin, if this does not compute, tried to get Windows 98 running on it, and I don't think he got it running properly. Or was it Windows 2000? I don't remember. Anyways, yeah, great stream. I'm glad I didn't give up. We got FastDOOM running with MIDI out. PC speaker's annoying, but you know, there is 98 because USB support. He had trouble getting 98 installed because this thing, I don't think, would boot from the CD, and you can't install Windows 98 to the same volume that you're running the installer from. Or, no. There was some installer problem he had because he was trying to install from the same volume, but I don't think he'd like copied the install files to the partition he wanted to install in. I think he had like, it was in a separate part. I don't know. There was some weird issue. Because, yeah, it was like some weird issue. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it's like this thing wasn't playing nice with the 98 installer, or was it the XP No, I don't think XP would run on these. He did a video. I'd have to rewatch it, but it was like he tried to install several versions of Windows. I think one required it, like, flat out wouldn't run because there's not enough memory on this board. And I think the other one, he had problems because, yeah, the USB support on this thing is really limited. Mike says, or lend it out to Action Retro Sean and have him install it. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, these things are, the way the BIOS works, you have to select the boot device every time, and I don't think this thing supports floppies. Because I tried a USB floppy drive, it wouldn't touch it. And I'm not sure it supports CD drives. If it doesn't support floppies, I would be really hard-pressed to believe it would support a CD drive. I honestly think they didn't. I honestly think the BIOS has been implemented knowing it's a kitchen controller, and I think it only supports USB flash drives because that's how they send updates for them. So, yeah. Maybe I'll get another OS running on it. Everyone's saying Action Retro Sean would just try to install Linux on it. I mean, I might try to install Linux on it, but I'm just trying to calibrate your expectations. I think this thing is so locked down in the BIOS. I am not sure how happy Linux would be. And the thing is, you have to select the device to boot every time you reboot. And the USB devices it supports is limited. It's not... I mean, I had trouble just getting MS-DOS installed on it. I had to actually use a different computer to install DOS. I never got DOS to install from the putting the installer on the iPad itself. I didn't get it to work. I had to use a different computer. So, yeah, there's something about the BIOS. They've removed support for stuff in it. Because you can go, the CBIOS is open source. You can go look at the source code. But I think when they put CBIOS on these things, I think they removed modules. And I think they removed the ability to change the boot order, if that's a thing. Or at least, I think they changed the default boot order. And the other thing is, I don't think they posted their source code changes anywhere, but I can't find OASys' website, so good, plausible deniability of being able, for their sellers being able to say, well, we don't know where OASys' website is either. You'll have to go find their website for the source code changes. Mike says, probably a live CD Linux. Yeah, I could probably get a live CD Linux to run. I don't know if I could get it to install, though. Because I even tried to, I think, boot the FreeDOS. And yeah, that's right. I think if you go back to my first live stream, I think I was even trying to boot the FreeDOS installer on this thing. And I couldn't get that to work. Jack said, then again, it came with a bootable floppy disk to get the install going. Problem is, this doesn't support booting from floppy. So it would have to, I would have to try booting from a CD to see if it still supports that. But this thing will not boot from a USB floppy. I've already tried it. So floppy boot is out. So any live CD you're going to boot is going to have to be one that doesn't require a floppy to start it. That's probably also why I had trouble getting DOS 622 to install. Mike says the fun is in the attempt. Yeah, but yeah. KK says, I have a CLFS-based Linux from source, optimized for K5 machines. I plan to try on these soon. Yep, I may let others try Linux on these first. I got Doom running with MIDI. That's my contribution. Chip flashing might do it, or a jumper on the board that enables it. I have thought about pulling the BIOS chip off and dumping it. There are no jumpers on the board that I can tell. There's no documentation on this board. The user manual certainly doesn't tell you about jumpers. In fact, I think it begrudgingly tells you about the SD card port. And that's only because perhaps they realized that OASys might have to send you an SD card to run an update. So I think they might have begrudgingly told you that was inside of it in the manual, but I suspect I think it might have been mentioned in the manual. Then again, I watched several YouTube videos on these that people had opened them up, so maybe the manual doesn't mention it. I don't know what changes they made to CBIOS because I can't find the posted changes to the code. I can't find OASys' website. Well, I'm not installing Linux tonight. I will look into what Linuxes might be installable. Puppy Linux Mike's Future Retro was saying. So, I mean, at some point I mean, yes, there's so many things I could do with these things, but, well, it's kind of has to do with I gotta draw the line for, yeah, sure, I could try to run modern Linux on this thing, but that's really not what my channel's about, so Doom is an older game, so that's, even though FastDOOM is a new engine that runs the old game, Doom is still an old game. So it's kind of one of those, sure, it'd be cool to run Linux on it, and I mean, you might catch me doing it at some point, but it's the kind of the, does running a new Linux fit the channel? Not really. Greg's saying, have Colin read the flash. If I can't read the flash, then yeah, I might have Colin read the flash. I've got a programmer, and I think I've got the adapter for the flash chip, because I think I see the flash chip right here. It's an 8-pin SPI flash, so I think I've got the adapter to read it. It's just, I didn't want to try removing the flash chip from the board until I had Doom running on it. So that, at least if I did brick it, at least I had documented proof I got it working first. But yeah, I may pull the flash and read it, because I know Colin, this does not compute, Colin posted some files for this, and I think I've also found some tools that might be usable to add files to the flash disk on these things. But I think I'd like to read the BIOS, because that might actually help me figure out how in the world all those things are supposed to work together. Sure, I think it'd be neat to actually maybe install Doom onto the flash chip. Although, I think I have figured one thing out, that XDOS doesn't like the FastDOOM directory for some reason, and I don't know why. It's a standard FAT16 SD card. Anyways, I think this is where I'm going to draw the stream to a close, because it's about midnight, and tomorrow's a work day. So, anyways, let's see here. I guess one last thank you to Alex for the Mac. And thank you, Garth, if you're listening. I saw your message that you put the VRAM and some DRAM in a box for me. So, hopefully sometime soon, I will actually be able to try out the G3 upgrade and the VRAM and the 7500. Because Garth, I think, put that in the mail today, or at least he says he sent it to me. Okay, so anyways, that should be on the way. Thank you, Garth. Thank you, Alex, for the 512KE that turned out to have a cool RAM upgrade board in it. That will be a very nice Mac that I will have fun with. And we got FastDOOM running with MIDI on the OASys iPad, so that's great. And we got some heat sinks on it to preserve its life more than the thermal brick that OASys put in the thing. So there you go. If you want one small trick to make your OASys iPad last longer, well, replace this with a heatsink. And I believe the heatsinks I put on it are shorter than the thermal pad, so everything should go back together without a problem. So anyways, I'd like to thank you all for joining me tonight. Thank you for hanging out in the chat, being cool, all the suggestions, the moral support, and the cringing at all the really weird resolutions we ran FastDOOM at. Don't forget to smash that like button if you like the fact that I finally got a version of Doom running with MIDI on the OASys iPad. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, because you won't want to miss the vintage fun we'll have in future streams. Let's see here. Tuesday, I haven't officially... Okay, Tuesday's stream is scheduled. I currently have it scheduled earlier than I normally start, because I am off that day, so I may start earlier Also, I won't be streaming next Thursday because it's Thanksgiving. So Tuesday stream will be the only stream next week. I am like 99% on board with having a slightly longer stream to make up for only one stream next week. Will it start at the time it's currently scheduled? I'm like 50-50 right now on that time. I'm kind of thinking, do I want to shift it 1 hour earlier? Or, I think I'm trying to decide between start 1 hour earlier or start at the time I've scheduled it for. So either 5 or 6 o'clock Eastern is kind of where I'm leaning towards. But anyways, we will start by looking at a Packard Bell for PACvember, the PACmate 7415. So that we'll take a look at Thursday before PACvember gets away from me. And then December, more to come. So yeah, you want to make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when I go live. And then maybe when I get my video production process back on track, well, I think maybe a short video on how to get FastDOOM running on one of these is probably in order. Who knows, maybe I might do that in conjunction with December, because you have to run something like MS-DOS to get FastDOOM to run, because there's something up with XDOS. So I think with that, I've had fun tonight. I think it was a great stream. I like ending on a successful note. So let's see here. I'm trying to make sure there was nothing else I needed to mention. Anyway, so yeah, don't forget. Nope, already made that announcement. So yeah, anyways, thanks for hanging out tonight. Thanks for the likes and the new channel members and being cool in the chat, the suggestions, the moral support, all that fun stuff. So without further ado, I would like to wish everyone a great rest of your day. Take care, and God bless. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time. And until then, take care.